So, Asana, we start with Tada. And Tada is followed by Frixa. I write them down both because Tada is a standing position that precedes every other standing position. Tada means mountain, the mountain pose. I do it on a bare floor because the next pose is a balancing pose, Friksasana. But first, Tadasana. Tadasana is about consciously standing straight. So you start with the foot soles. You distribute the weight on the foot soles evenly. Please stand up. Let's do it together. Then you engage the legs in the muscles. Your knee caps will slightly pull up when you actively look at my legs. You actively straighten your legs, not in a tense way. Just engage. You do the same with the hips. You engage the muscles in the buttocks and you tilt the pelvis a little bit forward. You pull the shoulders gently back, stretch up the back of the neck, and tuck in the chin. So it's like hanging on a string by the crown. Standing still, actively engaged, without movement. And every other asana is like that. Friksa follows out of this. Friksa means tree. We slowly shift our way to one foot, one leg, and we put the foot as high as possible on the inside leg. If possible, with the heel in the groin. If that doesn't work for you, you can let the foot rest on the knee. But the starting point is as high as possible. Now this is important. When you raise your leg, the hips are not level anymore. So after finding balance, you then try to level the hips by lowering this hip a little bit. It's a little bit tricky in the beginning, but when you get used to it, it's easy. You level the hips, then you bring the hands together, cross the thumbs. It's just a practical thing to keep your hands together. Then you actively stretch up, but you keep the shoulders depressed while you stretch up. Keep breathing deep and calm. Now remember non-violence. If you start to have discomfort in your foot, your leg, your arms and shoulders, it's time to stop doing the exercise. Slowly lower the hands, put the foot down, and relax for a moment. The relax in between each pose is important because that is where sattva installs itself in you. The asana is the trigger, but the energy settles down in the 10-15 seconds that you rest in between each asana. So for many people it's very boring because they don't understand, but it's crucial. Let's switch and try the other side. I lost my balance too. Now, if you lose balance, it may be because the mat is a little bit soft. So that's why I always do these poses on the bare floor. If you're comfortable on the mat, you stay on the mat. Relax for a moment, take a deep breath. Okay. Then we have Utthita Trikonasana. People know this as a triangle pose. Trikona means triangle, but what many people forget to incorporate in the asana is Utthita. Utthita means actively stretched up, actively engaged. And you could put the word Utthita, in fact, before every other asana, like Utthita Tadasana, Utthita Trikonasana. What does it mean? Triangle poses are often done like this, with the hand on the ground, leaning, and not engaged. Utthita means this. Look at the difference. Look at the transformation when I apply Utthita. My body is straight, so my spine is not bent, I'm straight, and I'm not leaning. So I'm carrying the weight in my legs and hips. You may not see it if you don't have a trained eye. Of course, you're familiar already with asana, but I'm engaged quite intensely. An engagement that is not there when you lean on your leg or on the floor. So it's not asana anymore. While many teachers tell you your hand must be on the floor. We don't. Just let the arm float. It's not important. This is important. The straightness of the flanks, opening up of the chest. Utthita. That is Utthita. Okay, let's try. Don't have to jump. I always do. Don't even. Yeah. Focus on the tilt of the pelvis. Also, misalign the feet. So your left foot should come forward a little bit. Not here, here. Yeah, a little bit like a triangle. Then focus on the tilt of the pelvis when you bend to the side. So the bending is done in the hips, not in the spine. Use the hips a little. Yeah, there you go. You remember. It's a muscle memory. Now try to detect when it's time to stop. When do you start to feel the signals that tell you it's not comfortable anymore, it's not leading to sattva anymore? Then you come back. The last asana for this session is Utthita Parsvakonasana. In English it's referred to often as the white triangle, but it literally, Parsva means flank. Flank with an angle. Utthita is intensely engaged, intensely erect. You spread the feet a little wider, and you bend the front leg. Then Parsva is this, from the heel to the hand. You try to make a straight line. So not like this, not like this, but like this. Go ahead, try it out. This is an intense pose. It's harder than the previous one. Try to recognize when it's time to stop. So don't wait for me to say stop. I generally don't, because it's not army training. It's individual. Everybody has a different condition. Everybody feels discomfort at a different time. And with a heavy exercise like this, it's also very easy to feel when you stay too long that it's disruptive, that it causes disharmony. So then you overshoot the goal. You have to learn to distinguish when it's time to stop. And get rid of the competitive element that you usually find in exercise classes, where it's all about doing as much as possible for as long as possible, as hard as possible. It doesn't work in yoga. On the contrary, it destroys everything that you try to achieve. And the interesting thing is, if you can recognize this in your asana, it integrates into daily life situation where you recognize it in daily life, in altercations, interactions, etc. It becomes second nature, and you train it on the mat. Okay, that was the last exercise. If you look at the schedule, which I will send you soon in a PDF file, there is another one called Sukhasana that I usually don't write on the board, because that is the pose in which you meditate. Now, Sukha means easy. So grab your cushion, sit down, prepare for the meditation. In the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, in the first chapter, where the author Svatmarama describes how to create circumstances to make your yoga practice succeed, one of the things that he says when introducing meditation is sit in an easy position. Sukhasana. Generally, this is considered to be a meditation pose. But what it means that he says sit in an easy position, he doesn't say sit in Sukhasana or sit in the Padmasana, but he says sit in an easy position. This is about meditation. If you're comfortable sitting in Sukhasana, then that is a meditation pose for you. And generally, this is what meditators use. Padmasana is better if you can do it. But most people, already after a couple of minutes, they start to feel discomfort in the hips, in the thighs, or in the ankles because of the pressure. Discomfort will disrupt your meditation, because in meditation you observe. You start with observation always, meditation. Simple observation. I have to say first that there seem to be a lot of different kinds of meditation. But actually there's only one. Just like there is actually only one yoga. There's guided meditation and meditation on this object and meditation on that. But meditation starts with silence. And silence cannot be achieved if you're not aware of your thought processes, which are in normal people subconscious. So there's always chatter going on. And we are externally oriented. We are conditioned to be aware of gross aspects of life, our surroundings, and very unfamiliar with internal aspects, our inner workings, our thought processes. So meditation starts simply with observation. And very fortunate, I think this is the first studio ever that is actually really quiet. Other studios you could hear the traffic, or there was music from the aerobic class next door, or personnel doing their things, their work. Here it's really quiet. You close your eyes and you simply observe. Maybe you can hear that the air cleaner starts to blow a little harder sometimes when it detects dust in the air. So you hear, shh, it increases. Or you hear a delivery motorcycle passing by. And sometimes a car honking their horn. Or in the billiard parlor next door, some laughter or some sounds from the TV or a ball that hits the floor. Meditation starts with observing whatever it is that you can observe, sounds, but also feelings. And observation always starts with external aspect, the gross aspect. But if you stay put on your cushion long enough, your observation evolves and refines, and it very naturally turns inwards. Well, first you hear the delivery motorcycle, the billiard balls, etc., the air cleaner, you now suddenly become aware of your heartbeat. And of course, and this is the most important, you start becoming aware of your thought processes. And that is where meditation starts. Meditation on a higher level is mind control, thought control. But that's not possible if you're not aware of your thought processes. So meditation is really not complicated. It's really simple. But that does not mean that it's easy. That is important to understand. But it starts simply with observation. And that's what we do. 15 minutes, nothing complicated. And you will see that naturally your observation evolves, it becomes quieter inside you, and you turn your attention from external to internal. And in this process it's very important that whatever it is that you observe, you do not allow to disturb you or to distract you. That means that you sit there in silence with your eyes closed, observing. If there is a car in the street that honks their horn, do not allow irritation to occur in you. That's violence. Or if people pass by and talk too loud, or other noises occur, do not be disturbed by it. It's a choice. Just like you choose not to go along with violence. The moment that you notice that you're disturbed, you just wave it away and say, it's just a car honking, or it's just somebody talking, or it's just do not allow it to disrupt you. It's something that in the beginning requires effort, but then becomes natural and becomes basically second nature. So you learn it on the mat, it will naturally integrate into daily life situations. 15 minutes the first time.